Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. In the least surprising breaking news of all time, FISA moves to the Senate without provision requiring warrants to conduct searches on Americans. Yes, you heard that right, guys. So I don't know if the Constitution is now just a suggestion. It's just like, okay, you might want to follow this if you want to, but if you are the intelligence agencies, you don't have to. The Fourth Amendment, you don't have to worry about that. Unreasonable searches and seizures, what is that? What's the Constitution? The Constitution is like toilet paper to these people. But this was voted on last week, and then representatives, it says right here, Laura Lee and Anna Paulina Luna, they delayed the vote until today. So it was actually, they didn't really delay it. It was like a motion to reconsider that they did. But let's look at this, guys, because there's some, I don't know, there's some little kind of funny stuff going on here. I'm not really sure what the whole point was for Anna Paulina Luna. At first, I was like, wait a second. That's really good. Anna Paulina Luna is putting forth this motion to reconsider. And then when you look at it, though, the one thing that really mattered with this FISA Reauthorization Act was the Biggs Amendment to be attached to the reauthorization. This amendment that would have required the intelligence agencies, in order to look into American citizens, kind of like, if the police go into your house, they have to get a warrant, right? Well, the intelligence communities through the 702 FISA Act, they wanted to just look at people's data without a warrant. It's kind of the same thing, right? But they don't want to. They say they don't want to deal with all the hassle of getting a warrant to look into someone's data because these are matters of national security. They always use this excuse, which would be an okay justification, except they always hundreds of thousands of times they have misused the FISA Act to unconstitutionally. Yes, I will emphasize this unconstitutionally look into American citizens' data. It's a violation, a direct violation of the Fourth Amendment. But this is an article from the Post-Millennial. On Monday, a congressional vote to move 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act bill to the Senate succeeded in the House with a vote of 259 to 128. So, wow, it wasn't even close. You might ask me, well, I thought this was a close vote. Okay, so yeah, there were amendments that were being voted on to amend what the FISA Act was. And one of these amendments specifically was the Biggs Amendment. This was the one that was very, very close. The final vote ended up being 212 to 212. And man, I am so angry about this. I'm so upset about what our own Republican, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, did. He was actually the tiebreaker vote who voted against this amendment that would have made it a requirement to get a warrant if you're looking into the data of an American citizen. That was the difference between the reauthorization and the warrant amendment, right? The Biggs Amendment was the warrant amendment. You guys get that now? Because some people were commenting on my videos, were like, well, this vote wasn't even close. It wasn't close at all. No, it actually was. Not the reauthorization of FISA, but the Biggs Amendment that would have made it a requirement to get warrants. The bill now goes to the Senate without any provision requiring warrants on the surveillance of Americans who are in communications with foreign actors. Ahead of the vote on Monday, the FISA bill passed on Friday with a vote of 273 to 147 without any provision to require that those using Section 702 of FISA to get a warrant if they collect information on American citizens. And now it gets into this Biggs Amendment from Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona. Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona had proposed an amendment that would have made it a warrant requirement included in the bill. FISA 702 is meant to be primarily used to gather intel on the communications of foreign individuals to detect threats. However, communications with Americans gets caught up in the mix when gathering the foreign intelligence. I wonder. Wow. The FISA court has also found that FISA has been used outside the rules of the federal government over 278,000 times. They abuse our trust, and they don't care. So what are the consequences? Like, oh, hey, you're using this on American citizens. You're using it outside of the bounds of what this FISA Act is supposed to be used for. So you know what? You don't get to use this anymore. You don't get to use this warrantless system anymore on Americans. I'm sorry. No, that's not what happens. When they tried to apply that with the Biggs Amendment, what did Mike Johnson do? Well, he was a tiebreaker vote. This conservative Christian gentleman who has been raving about warrantless surveillance on Americans for many years. All of a sudden, he becomes Speaker of the House and he flip-flops. All of a sudden, this is the biggest thing ever. Oh, no, we have to have this. This is integral to our national security. What happened to Mike Johnson? That needs to become like a quote everyone posts on his Twitter. And what happened to you, Mike Johnson? What happened to you? They took you into a dark room, and what did they do? What did they tell you, Mike Johnson? I would like to know. On Friday, when the bill passed, Representative Anna Paulina Luna of Florida objected to its passage, and immediately afterwards, Representative Laura Lee called for a motion to reconsider the bill. House Intelligence Chairman Mike Turner then called for a motion to table Lee's motion to consider. A lot of motions going on here. Luna then demanded a recorded vote on the motion to table. According to the Washington Examiner, the vote on the motion to table, the motion to reconsider, failed in the House. In a letter sent out on Monday, Luna outlined that she wanted others to vote no on the motion to table so that the bill would not pass to the Senate. She said, quote, "I am specifically asking the 56 members of Congress who voted for the final passage of H.R. 7888, the Reforming Intelligence and Security in America Act." Oh, wow. What a pretty name. They always like to name these bills and these acts like Patriot Act and, Reforming America and Securing America Act. After voting for Biggs Amendment number 1 to vote no on the motion to table, she wrote in the letter, quote, "The intent of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act was to be able to gather information on bad foreign actors. However, as we have seen over the years, the program has been abused to spy on American citizens. In direct violation of American liberty and the Fourth Amendment, the FISA court found that the federal government violated its own rules over 278,000 times," she added. The vote on Monday sends the bill to the Senate, where it will likely pass. Yeah, it will certainly pass. And I know that Rand Paul is going to have many objections to this, so I look forward to covering that. But one analogy I used, imagine if you had a spouse or a girlfriend or a boyfriend who somehow you found out that they have lied to you over 278,000 times. Would you trust that individual? Would you be like, oh, you know what? It's okay. I'll marry you anyways. You lied to me 278,000 times? Whatever. I'm gonna I'm gonna do it again. You know this how the saying goes. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, you know what? Shame on us for allowing this. But this was Anna Paulina Luna's plea to Americans to call their representatives to vote against the reauthorization of FISA. Listen.
Congresswoman Luna telling News Nation that these surveillance powers have been abused in the past, including spying on American citizens.
I really don't care to hear their fear campaign. I think that what they're doing is wrong. And I think that you can absolutely have strong and a strong intelligence community. You can have strong laws that would prevent harm from happening to the American people, but it doesn't have to violate your civil liberties.
In 2023, 70% of the CIA's illicit synthetic drug disruption stemmed from FISA. But here is what is concerning. Last year, a report from Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Corps found that the FBI misused the spying tool nearly 300,000 times between 2020 and 2021.
It's obviously concerning. You have our Fourth Amendments that are being infringed upon, and you had really Democrats and Republicans who are privacy and constitution hawks that were saying, hey, look, this needs to be reformed. There needs to be a warrant amendment added to this.
So, on the one hand, I really appreciate Anna Paulina Luna for doing this. But on the other hand, maybe I don't understand all the rules when it comes to these votes and whatnot. But I wonder why Anna Paulina Luna and this other representative from Florida did not use this same motion to reconsider for the Biggs Amendment, because the Biggs Amendment was actually the one that was so close. It was 212 to 212, and there were members of Congress that didn't vote, including Representative Debbie Lesko. She had the flu, and she tweeted that, "Oh no, if I had been there, I would not have voted for this bill if there wasn't a warrant requirement applied to it," kind of insinuating that she would have voted for the Biggs Amendment, but she wasn't there because she had the flu. So it makes me kind of question, how some of these things kind of, play out. Okay, so she put forth this motion to reconsider on the reauthorization of FISA, but they didn't put forth this motion to reconsider on the Biggs Amendment. So, I guess the motion to reauthorize FISA wasn't even close, but the Biggs Amendment vote was. So it just, I don't know, guys. Is my mind just too conspiratorially minded to where I just wonder why they didn't do it on the amendment? But what do you guys think? Let me know what you think about this. At first, I was all gung-ho about Representative Anna Paulina Luna because I thought this was awesome, but at the same time, it really didn't do much at all. Of course, this is going to the Senate, and it will be passed, and Americans will have their Fourth Amendment rights violated once again for 2 more years. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.